This is the review video for the PreAP Module 2B CBA review. This is a little bit longer of a review that's requiring a little more work, so I'm going to skip telling you about this part up here because it's the same as the other two CBAs that you've taken, so we will just jump right in. Number 1, Nicole bought 3 1/4 pounds of trail mix. She wants to make some for her family and friends. The recipe she is using calls for 5/8 cups of the trail mix. If she makes 4 batches for her family, how much trail mix will she have left over for her friends? So this is a multi-step problem. The first thing we're going to have to do is multiply, and then we'll have to subtract from the total. So I'm going to multiply 5/8, because that's how much I need for each serving, times 4, which would be 4 over 1, because that's going to give me how much she would need for 4 batches. 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 1 is 8, so I get 28. When I divide that out and make it a mixed number, it's going to be 2 4/8, or 2 1/2. So that's how much trail mix she needs just for 4 batches. And if you notice, that is an answer choice. I want to cross that out because I'm not done with my problem. Now what I need to do is I need to take 3 1/4 and subtract 2 1/2 from it. I need to make common denominators, so 3 1/4 minus 2 2/4. Okay, I cannot take 2/4 away from 3/4, so I'm going to have to borrow. I'm going to borrow from my 3 and make that 2 4/4, which would make this 2, and because I add my 4/4 to my 1/4, 2 5/4. It's okay that this is improper. It's that way so we can subtract. I'm going to take 2 5/4 minus 2 2/4, and my final answer would be 3/4 a cup is how much she would have left. Or pounds, I'm sorry. 3/4 pounds that she would have left. Which is B. And really, this should both be the same. We're not going to mess with converting. So it should both be cups. Let's go ahead and say that instead of having to worry about pounds and cups together. So just treat them all like they're all cups. 3/4 would be your answer. Number 2, Ashley had 1 25/100 feet of ribbon. She cut it into 4 equal lengths. How long was each piece of ribbon? This is a division problem, and I've had a lot of questions asked on this one, so let's go ahead and start with 1 25/100 divided by 4. First step is bring your decimal up. 4 doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 12 3 times. I get a remainder of 0. Bring down my 5. 4 goes into 5 1 time. Remainder of 1. I need to bring down another 0 because I'm not done. 4 goes into 10 twice. That's 8. I have a remainder of 2. I'm going to bring down one more 0. And I know I've told most of my classes you can go to 3 decimal places, but you need to keep going on this one. 4 goes into 25 times, and I'm done. So I get 0 and 3,125 10,000s as my answer. Okay, that's not an answer choice. It's not a typo, guys. The correct answer is not C. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to look, well, 5/25 isn't it, and 5's not it. So it looks like B would be my choice, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm that by doing the division. So 16 into 5 doesn't go in, so I add a decimal and a 0. This is turning a fraction into a decimal. 16 goes into 50 3 times. 3 times 16 is 48. Get a remainder of 2. I'm going to bring down a 0. 16 goes into 20 once. Get a remainder of 4. Bring down a 0. 16 goes into 40 twice, which is 32. I get a remainder of 8. Bring down one more 0. And 16 goes into 85 times with no remainder. So these match. So my correct answer would actually be B, which is 5/16. Number 3, put the following fractions and decimals on the number line. So I'm going to start by just kind of making my little hash mark. So that's going to be my 1 1/2. Okay, so I need to do 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. That'll be my 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, and then 2. So I'm going to mark my 1.5 because that's one of my numbers. Okay, and then I'm going to mark my 1.3, which is 1.30, 1, 2, 3. So here's my 1.30. Okay, I know that 1 1/4. 1/4 is kind of one of those fractions that you should just always know the decimal to. It's like quarters. 1 out of 4 quarters is 25 cents. So this fraction is going to be 1 25/100. That's one that's just good to commit to memory. So it's going to be right about here, 1 1/4. And then 1 4/5, I can say 1 4/5 is equal to 1 and how many tenths? 5 times 2 is 10, 4 times 2 is 8. So it would be, the decimal would be 1 8/10. So 1 4/5 is going to be right here. So that's where all my numbers are on my number line. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to the back. Number 4, 4 dogs, Jake, Charlie, Sam, and Carl, were each given a dog bone. After 15 minutes, Jake had 7/10 of his dog bone left, Charlie had 4/7, Sam had 50/100, and Carl had 1/4 of his dog bone left. Which of the following shows the order of dog bones from least to greatest? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just write all my numbers out. I have 7/10, 4/7, 50/100, and 1/4. Again, 1/4 should just be one that we know, and it should be 25/100. Okay, so now I've got 3 in decimal form, which it's very easy to compare once they're in decimal form. I now need to worry about 4/7. Okay, 7's not a very nice decimal, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it into a decimal because really all I need are 2 decimal places to be able to compare it to the other numbers. So I'm going to put 7 into 4. 7 doesn't go into 4, so I added my decimal and my 0. 7 goes into 45 times with a remainder of 5. I can't leave it here because I already have 0.5, and I need to know if this is bigger or smaller than my 5/10 or 50/100. So I'm going to bring down another 0. 7 goes into 50 7 times. Okay, I don't need to keep going at this point because I have enough of a decimal. All I have to do is compare it to this. So this is 57/100. Okay, now I can compare. So my order is going to be least is going to be 1/4 because that's my 25/100. That's the smallest. My next smallest is going to be my 50/100. Then it's going to be my 57/100, and then my greatest is going to be my 7/10. Okay, and this is the one that I forgot was written as 4/7. So if I come in, 1/4 belonged to Carl, 50/100 belonged to Sam, Charlie had the 4/7, and then Jake had the 7/10. So Carl, Sam, Charlie, Jake would be answer choice A. Number 5, a recipe calls for 1 3/8 cups sugar, 1 35/100 cups flour, 1 2/5 cups oil, and 1 28/100 cups milk. List these ingredients in order from least to greatest. Again, this is going to be turning fractions to decimals is the easiest way to do that. So I'm going to start with 1 3/8 because 8 doesn't go into 10 or 100 easily. I'm going to divide. 8 goes into 30 because I put my decimal 3 times. 24. It goes into 60 7 times. And it goes into 45 times. So my decimal for 1 3/8 would be 1 375 thousandths. That's another one. Some of the 8s are just good to commit to memory if you can. Okay, I also have 1 35/100, 1 2/5. 5 goes into 10 pretty easily, so that's going to be 1 4/10, which I can just write as 1 4/10, 1.4, and then 1 28/100. So now to put this in order from least to greatest, I'm going to look for my smallest number, which is 1 28/100, which is the milk. Then I've got my 1 35/100, which is the flour. Then I've got my 1 375 thousandths, or 1 3/8, which is the sugar. Then finally I have my 1 4/10, or my 1 2/5, which is the oil. So milk, flour, sugar, oil is B. Kimberly had a ribbon with links between 4 2/5 and 4 5/10. Which number is between these? 4 2/5 is equal to 4 4/10. I got that by multiplying by 2. And then this is 4 5/10. As a decimal, this would be 4 4/10 or 4 5/10. 4.42, that would fall in between, so I can check that off. 4 3/5 would be equivalent to 4 6/10, which is bigger than 4 5/10. It's too big. 4 55/100, same thing. This would be 4 50/100, so 4 55/100 would be too big. And then 4 1/20, 4 4/10, which is our smallest number, if I made that into 20ths times 2 would be 8/20, so this is way too small. So my correct answer is A. Number 7, your mom gave you $15 for your school supplies. You need one of each of the supplies below. What fraction of the money should be giving back to his mom? I guess to my mom, not his mom. So when I add this up, because your first step should be to add all these, and don't be confused by the $2.52 for a pack of 12. You're going to add that like it's one supplies because it comes in a pack of 12, so it's one item. When I add all that up, I'm going to get $10. Okay, so $10 out of $15 is what they spent. Oh, sorry, I'll make sure y'all can see that. Which means $5 out of $15 is the change. and that would simplify to 1/3, which is A. Alright, so let's go to the last page. Party City blew up 27 balloons for a football party. When Troy Aikman went to pick up the balloons, 6 red, 2 yellow, and 1 blue balloon popped. What fraction of the balloons popped? So 2 plus 6 plus 1 is equal to 9. So 9 out of 27 balloons popped, which when I simplify that by dividing, I get 1/3. Number 9, in Miss Glowicki's 6th grade math class, students just took their CBA. Michael got 2/3 of his test correct. Joey got 4/5. Cheryl got 18/20, and Lisa got 21/20 because she got the bonus question right. Miss Glowicki said the students could earn a prize if they got at least 3/4 of their test correct. Who got the prize? 3/4 is equal to 7/500 or 75 on their test as the grade. So that's kind of what we're looking to compare to. 2/3, when you turn that one into a decimal, it is a repeating decimal. And thirds, again, are just good benchmarks to know. You should always be able to put a third into a decimal. So it's actually going to be 0.6 repeating, and that's the bar we use for a repeating bar. So it's never going to end. It's going to be 0.6666666, and so on. So I'm just going to stop it there because that person got a 60-something, 66 really, 67 if you want to round up on their test. So he did not qualify for the prize, so Michael's out. The next one would be 4/5. 4/5 is equal to 8/10. So when I write 8/10 as a decimal, that is above 7,500, so Joey's good. Cheryl was 18/20. I'm actually going to simplify this to 9/10, which would be written as 9/10, which is also greater than 7,500, so Cheryl's good to go. And then Lisa, if we look at her, she's 21/20. She's actually over 1 whole because it's an improper fraction. So she actually ended up getting 105 or 1.05, which means that she automatically did well because she got above 100. So the people that are doing better and getting the prize are 2, 3, and 4, which is D. Oh, sorry, which is D. There you go. A cheetah can run 5 4/5 miles per minute. Write a decimal to represent the distance the cheetah can run in a minute. Okay, 4/5 is equal to 8/10. So this would be 5 8/10, which is written as 5.8. That one's pretty simple. Number 11, Nicole ran 1 4/5 miles along White Rock Lake. There was a rest stop every 3/10 of a mile. How many rest stops were along her route? Well, we just did 4/5 and said it was 8/10, so this is going to be 1 8/10. And I'm going to divide 1 8/10 by 3/10. Okay, I can't have a decimal on the outside, so I'm going to multiply by 10 and move that decimal over, and I need to do that to the inside too. So when I rewrite this problem, it will be 3 divided by 18, which is 6. So there were 6 rest stops. And I could always check that by doing 6 times 3/10, and I would get 1 8/10. Last question. Hopefully I don't run out of time. Miss Ackroyd and her 2 friends, so that's 3 people total, went to lunch. They combined their money. After giving the server $35, they received $7.70 back. If they split the bill evenly, how much was each person's portion? So 35 minus 770. This is going to tell me how much they paid. I'm going to borrow here. 2. So 27.30 is what they paid, and I need to divide by 3 people. 3 goes into 27 9 times. Oh, I need to bring my decimal up. That should have been my first step. Sorry. Bring down my 3. 3 goes into 3 1 time, and then I can't leave my 0. Even though I have a remainder, I can't leave my 0 alone, so I need to put a 0 in. So each person paid $9.10. All right, hopefully you did well on your review, and if you need help, please come into tutorials. Good luck.